Hi, this is Jumbo with the DNB Academy, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to use the NOIZE 2 on your drums. So, for this one, I decided to add two different drum sounds. One of them is a serum snare that I did, and I can show you. It consists of one body with the transient and another layer with the noise. And this is the part where denoise will come in hand. And here we do have a regular audio snare, just a sample from DNB Academy Creative Suite Volume 1. And it sounds like this. It's a cool snare. It does contain some of its tops properties, which is cool, as you can see here. But we've got all this room here that can be fulfilled, and there are some ways to get there. One of them being with EQ, which is not my favorite because before going into the EQ, there are quite some other parts that should be crafted. So yeah, this is the point where we're adding it. Let's start with the Midi snare. I'm just going to create a Midi clip here. Control-Shift-M. Obviously, all of this can be done in any DAW. Just gonna play like this note here, G. Let's loop it. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. So yeah, we do have this snare. I'll make a longer loop so it doesn't bother us that much. As you can hear, it's a pretty cool snare. And what we need to do here is just go to the noise layer, and I can actually mute it and show you the serum preset. It's just an envelope sent to the noise volume. We can actually make this 100%. But as you can hear, the noise is just too bland. It's really a noise. And the noise will come in hand here because you can control and you can give character to your noise. So I'm going to show you the main settings here and your approach when it comes to layering your drum sounds. So as you can see here, this rise and fall, it's pretty much the same as the attack and release. So rise, it's the time it takes for the noise to affect the sound, and the fall, it's the opposite. Then here we've got your stereo. If you want your sound to be wider or narrower, it depends. And then a filter, which I don't really like to use because I rather EQ it afterwards, so you can be more precise. And this is pretty much the gain, the dry and wet and gain. Then we've got this adapt option, which serves as a sort of it adapts to the wave shape of the sound that you're using. So if it's like a snare, which usually starts with accentuated transient, it will follow up that peak and then go down with the tail. So it really depends on the type of sound that you're doing. Here, it's self-explanatory, it's just the reverse. And then you've got the types of noises that you want to use. And you can actually load your own noises if you have them on your computer. Then just a solo if you just want to hear what the noise is doing. So let's just hear right off the bat without anything. Then we just turn it on, and we got left with pretty much the same sound. So let's start giving some tweaks on the mix. And as you can hear, we're starting to get a lot of splash and a lot of brightness on the tops. But this is too long. I want it to be like this loud in the mix, but I don't want this to last so long. So I'm just gonna start tweaking here on the fall. And as you can hear, it's starting to get way softer and way shorter. So we just need to find our sweet spot. And here on the rise, it's really up to you and the initial amount on the first hit. I think something like this would be better. Just gives a bit more splash to the sound itself. In terms of stereo, it's all fine for now. I don't see any problem. And here on the high-pass filter, I usually just try to cut off some of the I mean on the low-pass filter. Sorry, cut off some of the lows. Just a tiny bit. You're good. Now, as I told you, we got the adapt option, which obviously comes in hand, as you can see and hear. If you turn this off, it will just play a really annoying sound, which can be helpful and beneficial in other types of sound design sessions that you might end up doing. But for this specific case, it's not that important. So now let's just browse through the different types of noises we've got here. I usually use white or pink. Pink has a more rich section on the low end and on the mids, which cannot be cool for the specific sounds, but once again, you can EQ it and problem solved. So yeah, let's just use pink for this one. Now let's just work a bit on the fall here. I'll probably want this a bit. And here on the high-pass filter as well. Just cut a bit of the lows. And we can maybe leave this down here. Now let's just tweak the fall once again so we can get the perfect sound. Now let's hear this with our transient, with our body all together. Yeah, it sounds cool, but it needs a bit more volume. As you can hear, obviously it's clipping a bit, but with a bit of limiting, that would be solved. Now let's just make this a bit tighter. And see, I'm gonna show you how it sounds without the knees. It's really weak and it has not as much character as this one, as you can definitely hear here. Look. And it's way higher up on the mix, and the snare immediately stands out. So this is the sort of approach you can make when it comes to a Midi snare, and you're pretty much just layering, and you're just working on one layer, not the overall layer. But then some other producers might come to some other problems when it comes to sampling, because a lot of us don't use Midi to make their drums. They just want to fool around with audio, which is totally legit and it's totally plausible. So what I really used to have problems with was this, just like getting good samples, but the transient is good, the body is not that good, but the tops are awesome. Then you have snares that were the opposite, like really bad bottom and transient, but the tops sounded so good. And with these types of plugins, you can balance that out, you know? So for instance, let's say this snare, and as you can hear, it has a really tight and really good body and transient, but then the noise could be a bit more solid and more strong, and I mean stronger, because when you're doing a track, this will be very important, because with all the other elements we use on our drum and bass tracks, for the snare to stand out, it needs to be clear on the tops, period, you know? There's no other way around it, unless you're doing like really simple and minimalistic drum and bass that has not so many elements, that can be worked around, you know? But in this case, let's see what we can do with the knees. So I'm gonna turn this on once again, and the process is gonna be pretty much the same, but we need to have in mind that we are not layering just a noise layer, and we're not improving a noise layer as we did before. We are tweaking a full sound snare. So yeah, let's do it, the same process. Just follow me, and I think you're gonna be impressed with the results and the improvements. So let's go with the mix again. Fall, just to control the length. Rise once again. This case, we want the snare to be splashier instead of... You can already hear the difference and the improvements on the sound. Let's go with something like pink again for this one. Let's pick up on those high mids that I showed you before. So let's not make the filter cut those frequencies off. Now let's boost this a little bit, the out gain. You can see it's clipping a bit, but that's normal. That's what the noise does when you apply it to a sound. But if you clip it, you won't have any problems. You can hear like the white noise is too harsh for the specific sound. So I think pink fits better. We can actually increase the stereo a little bit to make this snare wider. And now it's really up to your taste. So, okay, we have our snare here. And let's listen the snare without the noise. Yeah, as you can hear, there's a big difference and immediately stands out like. Even the transient is affected a bit from the plugin, but it's not to a point where it bothers you and ruins the transient itself. So I think you all managed to see the benefits of using denoise on your drums to improve the character and their own richness. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I see you on the next one. Peace.